As a woman in her 50s, it's like I would be remiss to not have menopause as a part of this conversation. Because for me, it's like I started menopause at 36, perimenopause at 36.
Oh my goodness, that is early.
Yeah, and by 38, I was completely menopausal. And it's like, one thing is for certain that every person with a vulva is eventually going to go through menopause. Not every person with a vulva is going to get a divorce, right? And so I wanted to be able to have a conversation because I feel like we're just now starting to have more conversations, more research, more open dialogue about perimenopause and menopause than ever before.
Yeah.
And, just last year, PBS released this documentary, The M Factor, which is the first documentary that's ever been done about menopause.
Really?
And it's the first documentary ever to allow clinicians to receive CEU credits, which are continuing education units for the audience.
They don't want women to know about their bodies. It's crazy.
There's never been research
Maybe
before.
that content just seems like this thing of no more kids, it's over. Like maybe no one's, we're always covering the before phase.
Right.
Like I guess I could almost see that when learning about menopause, it was interesting because one of my friends that got it was like, bitch, I never thought about freezing my eggs.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
Yeah.
So now when menopause comes quicker, I'm out of luck.
Right. And also there are, menopause is a neuroendocrine disorder that radically changes everything that we know about our bodies. Everything. The lifestyle changes that I've had to make. Can
we talk about some of them?
Yeah, we can absolutely talk about them. And I'm happy to talk about symptoms also.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, I only ever heard about hot flashes.
Me too.
And mood swings.
Okay. No period.
And sex drive and no period. That's it. But nobody ever told me that I would get headaches. One of my first symptoms one of my first perimenopausal symptoms, I started having headaches after I had an orgasm.
What?
Oh my God.
Like
my homegirl had this and it ended up being what's the endometriosis, but to the highest level.
Yeah.
So, and it's because it's the same. It's a hormonal imbalance.
It's a hormonal imbalance. I went
headaches
to and I had
orgasm?
endometriosis. But yeah, or headaches with orgasms. They're like thunderclap headaches, and they're really debilitating. I saw a neurologist because I was like it happened the first time, and I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't get up out of bed. The second time I had it, I was like, I need to see a neurologist.
But you want to have an orgasm. You just don't want to have the headache.
Like, what the fuck is this? I was worried that maybe I was having like an aneurysm. Like,
I would have thought it was an aneurysm.
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck it was. So, but it turns out that it's very common with men in their 20s and women in their 40s. And, but also it's like headaches, ringing in my ears. One of the craziest symptoms was my labia started to shrink. Like it started to deflate.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and my clitoris shrank. Like it was, I had to like.
At what age did this happen?
This started at like 45.
You just saw it start getting smaller?
Like I would go to touch myself and I'm like, why does this feel smaller? Like it feels, and I would look at, it's like obviously we look at our pussies,
at ourselves,
right?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at myself and I'm like, my labia doesn't feel as full as it used to be. Like I started to notice that it was like wrinkling, and I had conversation. I was going in to see my gynecologist. And she was like, bless her heart, she's so sweet. But she was like, I look at vaginas all day, and not that yours isn't beautiful in its own right, but it looks pretty normal to me. And I was like, bitch, I have like 30
I know
years.
what my pussy look like. It ain't supposed to look like this.
It don't look like this. And I'm telling you.
Not you going from the archives that you had for the damn Northwest.
Right?
Look at my pussy here. It's not the same.
Right. I was like, no, seriously, like it's starting to shrink. And eventually she sent me to a menopause specialist who was able to get me on the right blend of hormones to help with sensitivity. I mean, who would have known that the 7,000 nerves endings in your clit could actually become desensitized? It can, and it don't have nothing to do with a vibrator. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But it took nobody has ever, I had never heard anyone tell me that the inner labia could return to the architecture of the vulva.
That's how they said it?
That's how they said it. Basically, it can disappear into the...
With menopause.
With menopause.
That's wild.
Your pussy can go away?
It can go away.
And what if you making money on that motherfucker?
Listen, let me tell you, I was still making money on my pussy, and it was actually, this is what.
How did you introduce this creatively to? Hey, not everyone goes through a divorce, but I want to bring this very thing that everyone will experience eventually in their life to something that should be bringing pleasure to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I brought in a couple of people to consult with, Omasade from Black Girl's Guide to Menopause, Amina from, it used to be ATL Tantra, is now the Amina Institute, to have conversations around like what mindfulness looks like as a tool for sex during menopause. I mean, because racing thoughts is a thing. Like, when you go through menopause, if you have any pre-existing mental health conditions, menopause can exacerbate those issues.
Oh, and not my asthma gonna go up.
Listen, I mean, I'm thinking more like depression, anxiety, bipolar, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of these things can be, when we talk about mood swings, that's what it actually is. That's part of what it is. And so one of the things that I wanted to do with the script was to talk about like the racing thoughts, right? The inability to focus during sex, and and introduce some of those mindfulness techniques that we can use to be able to focus, to be able to like get back into our bodies, like to get out of our head and into our bodies. There was originally a scene that wound up being cut by the production company.
Tell us the BTS. Wait, what scene got cut?
The scene that got cut was actually a scene between Jasmine and her and like a therapist on the a virtual, like on the laptop. I originally wanted Nina Hartley to play this character. Okay. Because I wanted her to be able to talk about responsive versus spontaneous desire, which is one of the things that also happens with menopause. We think of it as like that your libido goes away. It's not that your libido goes away. It's just that you don't have spontaneous desire anymore. So it's like spontaneous desire is the cute person walks across the room and you're like, I would hit that. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Wait, you don't even have those thoughts anymore?
Is it the thought or the action?
It's both, actually. It's the desire. Like, we think of desire.
So when you see Method Man, you don't want to fuck him? Method Man, fine.
Next question.
Okay, all right. Let me talk about my listen. All right. Because that means I don't care if I'm 100 years old or whatever going on with my body.
I would absolutely. But the thing is, it's like, well, the way we think of desire is we think of it as, we think of like you have the desire, you get turned on, and then you have sex, right? That is that's the linear view of desire. With responsive desire, you need some sort of stimulation to get you going. So you might not get aroused first, or the desire might not even be there, but maybe a touch, a kiss, someone actually someone stimulating you in some way. Maybe it's a verbal cue or what have you that produces the desire.
How long is this entire film?
It's like an hour and 35. An hour and 35.
How much
four sex scenes?
Yeah, how much? 4 sex scenes. Mm-hmm. What's also crazy is you said this is going on TV.
It's on television right now.
The softcore version?
The hardcore version.
The hardcore version is on TV. How?
Canal Plus out of France. The company itself, Dorsal.
Well, that makes sense.
There we go.
The company is Dorsal Films out of France. They sold the film. They actually sold the film with the treatment to Canal
congratulations.
Plus.
That's a fucking big deal.
So, yeah, before we even had the script done, it was like they were able to sell the film. So the film is showing on Canal Plus in France. It's also available in Germany, Belgium, Switzerland on television. And
we think we're such
niggas love black girls.
Mind you, we think we're such a progressive country.
And they love older women.
And it's over there. It ain't even.
It's yeah.
Wow.
So the film is on television.
We know now we ain't progressive.
Yeah, we're not progressive.
We're definitely not progressive.
Now we try.